90% of repair shops lie about your car's AC. Refrigerant doesn't run out, but you pay for recharge every summer today. You'll discover why refrigerant should never run out, how to identify AC leaks without equipment, and a scam that makes you waste $300 every summer. We use basic physics and real data to expose the lie shops have been repeating for decades. At the end, a checklist so you never fall for this trap again. Mike took his Civic in for an AC checkup. Air was cold, but not like before. Mechanic hooked up the gauges, looked for 2 seconds, and said, "Refrigerant's gone. Needs a recharge." $300 for the service. Mike paid. 2 months later, warm air again. Went back to the shop. Answer: refrigerant's gone again. Another $300. Here's where the problem starts. AC refrigerant doesn't run out. It doesn't evaporate, doesn't age, has no expiration date. Your car's AC system is hermetically sealed. The fluid circulates in a continuous cycle, changes from liquid to gas and back to liquid, but never leaves the system. Basic physics, closed circuit, that if the refrigerant disappeared, there's only one explanation: a leak. And leaks aren't fixed with recharges. It's like filling a bucket with a hole. You put water in, it escapes, you fill it again. Shady shops love this cycle. Customer comes back every 3 months, pays for a recharge, and never actually fixes the real problem. The R134, a refrigerant used in most cars since 1995, costs between $60 and $90. Complete service with specialized labor should run between $200 and $300. But only if there's a confirmed leak that's been repaired first. Problem is that 70% of shops don't run a leak test before recharging. They pump refrigerant into the system, charge you, and know you'll be back soon. But there's something worse. The mandatory flush scam comes right after. Let's understand how it works. The AC compressor pressurizes the refrigerant. The condenser cools that gas and turns it into liquid. The evaporator turns that liquid back into gas, absorbing heat. This cycle repeats infinitely. Refrigerant doesn't disappear in this process. When a shop says your refrigerant is gone, 3 possible scenarios. 1, there's a real leak. 2, there's a microscopic leak nobody detected. 3, there's no leak at all, and the problem is something else. Real leaks happen mainly at the service ports. Those are the points where the technician connects gauges to measure pressure. These ports have rubber seals that dry out over time. Solution: replace the valve core, costs $20 to $50. Quick job, but some shops don't replace them. They recharge, and that's it. Customer comes back in 2 months, and when the system runs out of refrigerant, PAG oil escapes too. This oil circulates with the refrigerant, protects the compressor, hoses, and seals. Without oil, the compressor seizes. That's when you're really screwed. Compressor replacement runs from $1,500 to $3,000 depending on the model. Legit shops always run a leak test before any recharge. Basic method: mix of water and dish soap on the connections. Turn the system on. If bubbles form, there's a leak. Professional method: fluorescent dye with UV light. Dye circulates in the system, leaks where there's a problem, and UV light shows exactly where the hole is. Another important point: vacuum pump. Before recharging refrigerant, the system needs to be evacuated. The vacuum pump removes air and moisture from inside the circuit. Moisture causes corrosion, air causes overpressure. If the shop doesn't pull vacuum for at least 30 minutes before recharging, the job's half done. And the flush scam? Shops say the AC system needs flushing every time they recharge. Bullshit. Flushing is only necessary if there was compressor contamination or if a major component was replaced. But there's still the saturated refrigerant scam, which is even more elaborate. This is the most sophisticated con. Mechanic hooks up the gauges, sees there's pressure, and makes up. Refrigerant is saturated, lost its properties, needs replacing. Complete garbage. Refrigerant doesn't saturate, doesn't age, doesn't go bad. It's a stable chemical compound. If it came from the factory in 1995, it works today. No expiration date. What the tech calls saturation is actually contamination from air or moisture. And that only happens if someone did a sloppy job before. Open the system without pulling vacuum. Let air in, didn't dehydrate it. Then yeah, the system gets contaminated. But the solution isn't replacing refrigerant. It's pulling proper vacuum to remove contaminants. Some crafty mechanics do this. Drain your good refrigerant, hook up gauges, say the pressure's wrong. Recharge with the same refrigerant they took out, charge you for the recharge. You don't see a difference because the refrigerant was good from the start. There's also the receiver dryer scam. This filter really does trap moisture and debris. It saturates over time, but it only needs replacing every 3 to 5 years, or when the system is open for major component repairs. Not every year. Shady shops say the dryer is clogged every time you show up. They charge $150 to $300 for the replacement. Dryer costs $80. Reality. If your AC blows cold, there's no leak. If it stopped blowing cold suddenly, it's probably the compressor, pressure switch, or clogged cabin filter. Not refrigerant. Refrigerant doesn't disappear overnight, and there's a definitive test you can do yourself at home, spending just $10.5 steps to never fall for the scam again. 1. If air stopped blowing cold, first replace the cabin air filter. Costs $25. You can swap it yourself in 10 minutes. Clogged filter blocks airflow. Makes it seem like the AC isn't working. Point 2. Do a homemade leak test. Buy dish soap, mix with water, brush it on the AC service ports with the car running and AC on max. If bubbles form, there's a leak. Take a photo and show the shop. Point 3. If a shop says you need a recharge, ask, did you run a leak test? Are you using a vacuum pump? How long will you pull vacuum? If the answer is evasive, walk out. Point 4. Demand a detailed work order before approving anything. It must have exact amount of refrigerant used, refrigerant brand, vacuum time performed, pressure measured before and after. Point 5. If you recharged and the AC failed again in less than 6 months, change shops. Work was done wrong. A good system holds its charge for years. There's no such thing as preventive recharge maintenance. That doesn't exist. Now the fact shops hate that comes right up. Now you know. AC refrigerant doesn't run out. If it ran out, it's a leak. And leaks aren't fixed with recharges, they're fixed with repairs. This will save you hundreds of dollars every year. Next video. The 3 automotive maintenance services that shops push but your car doesn't need. One of them costs $400 and is completely unnecessary. Click now.